want any reggae music rolling into our live stream?
Cool. And so we are technically live right now. So I'm gonna make sure that I can see it on Facebook before I get excited.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Okay, so I just got a notification.
that,
We are
that we are
live.
live. Awesome, 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 awesome. Hey, 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 Facebook. I do apologize for the delay. We had some tech issues, but
Yeah.
hey, we were not going to allow that to stop us. So, LD, we are live, so you can definitely go ahead and share it out over on your page as well. You know, share it out to your audience too, so that way we have it all in all these different areas. And
Yeah.
then once we get this, once I share it out, we're gonna go ahead and dive in. Hey, 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 hey. Diane, how are you? You guys, hey, come on in, come on in, come on in. You guys definitely share this if you have coaches that follow you,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, those people that are interested in signing corporate contracts,
That's
especially with
right.
what's going on now, you know, definitely make sure that you share this out. This is going to be some amazing information. And so we don't want to keep all this goodness to ourselves.
That's
Come on
right.
in, come on in, come on in. And so once we get this all shared out, we're going to go ahead and dive on into the conversation. And so as you guys are coming in, if you do not know me, I am Beverly Walthour. I am a business strategist specifically for Christian female coaches who are looking to create more income and impact without compromising their Christian values. I'm also a TV and radio show host, so we film and record the TV and radio show here in Atlanta, GA. And so, you guys, come on in, come on in, come on in. And so, you guys, if you have been paying attention to my space the past, 3 or 4 weeks, I have been doing these client case study conversations, is what I call them. And so, I've been using these opportunities to have conversations with my clients. And so, as you can see, I'm usually on StreamYard. We had a little technical difficulty, but it's all good. We were able to push through it, hop on over on Zoom, and
That's
here
right.
we are. So, like I said, I do apologize for us being a little bit late. Thank you guys for your grace and hanging on in there with us. And so, Aldine, I know that they are super excited to get started. So, I want to go ahead and just dive on into this
Yes.
conversation because they're seeing the title up there and they're like, wait a minute, what's she doing? What is she doing? So, Aldine, first of all, welcome and thank you so much for having this conversation with our audience today. Welcome and
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks
Awesome.
for having me.
You're welcome. And so, Aldine, let's go ahead and, you guys, Aldine, she is a part of my 90-day revenue accelerator program. So this is a program for, coaches who their goal is to generate between $30 and $50,000 in 90 days. And so this is a group of just high-powered Christian coaches. That's who I service. And so when I tell you bringing these believers together, um, it's been absolutely powerful to witness and watch them come together, rally around each other, pray, cry, laugh, all of that good stuff. And so, Aldine, kind of talk to us about, what you do and who you serve.
Sure. So I am a transformational business coach. And I say that because whenever I get into a business, it's never the same when I leave. So I work predominantly with small to medium sized companies, and I really help them, create effective strategies to create six-figure businesses or more. So whenever I work with a small business owner or I work with any business, my goal among the other goals that they have in place is to really transform that business into six-figure revenue.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And so, when you say small businesses, does it matter if it's offline, online? Like, what type of businesses do you support?
So typically my clients will range from coaches and consultants to small business owners. Let's say distributors. Food production has been pretty hot space for me lately. So
Mm-hmm.
restaurants, caterers, food manufacturers, food distributors. I mean, I'm a foodie, so I don't know if I just attract those clients
Hey.
to me, right? But my clientele base is typically coaches, consultants, and then small to medium sized companies, and predominantly food space for sure.
I love that. I love that. And so, how did you get started in this area? Like, kind of tell us your background so that they know you're not just any old schmojo off the street, but, kind of tell us a little bit more about your background,
Right.
and, how you kind of landed in this area as an entrepreneur.
For sure. So I started out, wanting to be in biology, actually, marine biology. So for those of you who don't know much about me, I actually grew up in the Caribbean. So I'm from Jamaica. And so I live 20 minutes from the beach. So, I mean, marine biology was my thing until later on, just when I was about to leave high school, a family friend that was in organizational psychology, she was sharing a little bit about what she did. And I really love working with people. I really have a passion for people and passion for helping people. And so when she talked to me about what she did in business, I'm like, I love animals and I love the water, but this is more my calling. So I did my first degree, management studies, focusing on HR. And for the last decade of my career, I've spent a lot of time working in these small to medium sized companies, really working in HR operations and strategy. So I started out with, doing training and development, getting involved in HR strategy. And then I kind of got too curious and dabbled into operations. And most of the companies I've worked with have been food manufacturing. So, getting that very process engineering type of mindset, very methodical, looking at how things really, work with each other, work into each other, how processes and effective processes are crafted. And then later on in my career, when I started to lead HR departments and sit at the leadership table, helping to really craft strategy and put that together. And I like to say I work with four main areas of a business. I work with the people, the process, the policy, and the technology, because all four of those things are morphed into that business strategy that really is able to yield great results. And one of the stories I want to share today, as we talk about how I landed one of these particular corporate contracts, was because when I walk into the room and when I talk to people about, how I support them and how I can help their business, I don't just focus on one area, right? I try to look at what will holistically make their business more effective. And so having had that background working with people, working with operations, I'm a tech, very, very tech savvy person. I love process technology, everything from AR to VR and, machine learning, you name it. And I can tell you how you can deploy it in your business. I've really been able to leverage those four areas for business growth. And so today, as we share a little bit about how, I was able to land these different corporate contracts, I'll share how my background or whatever your background is, you can really leverage, bring it to the table to have these conversations that convert into these contracts.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so, you guys, I am such a huge fan. Those of you, if you've been in my space for any amount of time, I truly believe that as a coach, we have that consulting aspect and that consulting side to what it is that we do. And, being able to leverage both of those pieces. And so I talk to my clients all the time about, hey, if you're able to continue, to have your coaching, whether or not you're doing one-on-one, if you're doing small group, but then being able to use your skill set, think about all the skills that you have from, your business. And even when you were in corporate yourself, being able to leverage those skill sets to now be able to help other businesses and organizations and all that good stuff, be able to bring out the best in them as well. And I know sometimes we feel like, well, am I really qualified? But hey, it's just little old me type of thing. But Aldine, she'll be on here. She'll talk to us a little bit about what she's been doing and how she does it. And then once again, did you pay attention to her background and what it is that she did, before she transitioned full time into her own business? So once again, that's why if you go back and listen to what she said, as far as how she helps small businesses and coaches and consultants, to be able to scale to six figures in their business, one of those components and one of those key pieces is being able to leverage that corporate, the consulting side of your business. So did I summarize that pretty well, Aldina? Let me know.
I'm happy you're recording this because I'm going to use this as some intro material, right?
Awesome. And so before we dive deeper into kind of like your how and what it is, so the people are chomping at the bit, you guys please make sure you have paper and pencil with you for this conversation. So kind of tell the listeners, because I love for people to kind of see like our relationship and how we kind of connected. So, how did we connect and how did you end up in my 90-day Accelerator program?
So I don't actually remember how I found your group. So I'll share this though. It was a time in my life when I thought about I wanted to go into consulting. So when I just started my business, and just as a precursor, this is my 8th business, guys. So if you're out there thinking, this business is hard, I'm not cut out for this. Like I'm on number 8. Okay, like don't stop. So that's precursor.
I love it.
Right. So I don't remember how I found Bev's business group, but I was in that space where I was thinking, I want to get into consulting. This is what I want to do because I'm learning all these really cool things. And, one of the things, especially when you talk to other people who've come out of corporate, one of the biggest things about that is that you kind of get stuck, right? You feel like you have all these expertise, you have all this energy and all this information and knowledge, but you can only deploy it in one particular area. So for me, I really wanted to, impact the business on a holistic level. And so for me, I actually didn't start out coaching. I started out consulting. And then after consulting and working with friends of mine who had businesses, I ended up doing more coaching for them and less consulting for them because you started to see the other areas, that needed help as well. So before I digress into that too much, so it was kind of in that headspace. So I was looking for groups on Facebook and I came across Bev's group. And one of the things that I liked about it, though, is that it was a Christian space. And for me, I love consuming information, but I'm very action oriented. But I'm very also centered, God centered. So anything I'm doing, I'm all about mission and being purposeful and all, and I don't want to sound very preachy, but I'm very focused on the fact that this is not the end of life. And so anything I'm doing today, I'm doing now, I need to make sure that it aligns with where I want to go after. So for me, when I started my business, one of the core beliefs for me was that I needed to work with businesses that not just cared about the bottom line, but were also caring about their communities. So for me, one of the things, Bev talks about, she only works with Christian female coaches. And if you're not a Christian, but you're comfortable with working with her, you can work with her. For me, I adapt that as well. But I also tell business owners, I don't work with you unless you have community impact as part of your strategy, right? Your business doesn't just only exist for you. It's a part of a community. And so if you're not caring or not concerned about the community that you're operating in, I'm the wrong business coach and consultant for you. Because I'm always going to be bringing to you opportunities for you to impact your community. And not just for a tax write-off, but really for the value of you being there and being a contributor of the community. So I was in that headspace, really looking for groups to kind of grow and, learn more about what other consultants were doing in the space as I was launching out. And so I came across Bev's group. And I really loved the spiritual aspect. I remember, listening in on a couple of the lives. And, Bev will tell you I was really active. Like I was all in. Right. And, there was a time, and I kept telling her, Bev, I'm going to work with you. Bev, I'm going to work with you. Every couple of weeks in Messenger, man, Bev's on me. She's like, Aldine, what's going on? How are things going? How are your clients doing? What have you been doing? And if you know Bev at all, she's always asking you, what are you doing every day to generate revenue, man? Like, what are you doing? How many sales?
That sounds like it could be me. I may have said that a time or two. Okay.
All I have to say is if you are scared of getting or moving your business forward, don't join the accelerator. Okay. Like if you're not ready to be pushed and to be challenged and to be stretched, don't.
Okay.
Don't
she
join.
Told you. She told you.
Don't call her. Don't message her. Okay. Like don't. I tell you, you will be better for it though. So for me, I was consuming a lot of what she was sharing and implementing a lot of, what she's been sharing. And I found it very valuable. I found quick wins, from just that information. And so this year I decided to make the investment because especially with what was happening with COVID and I didn't want to work full time anymore. I really wanted to, step into my business. But I believe as a coach, you also need support. You need a coach, you need a consultant that's going to be helping you be better. Because I'm advocating to my clients that you need a coach, I got to have a coach too. So for me, I mean, I don't want to say I'm sorry I picked because I really am not. I can tell you the first 3 weeks of that accelerator, I was having headaches. I was freaking out. I was literally
after that first call, right? After the first call, they were like, what have I gotten myself into?
And you know what's funny? Bev says, no refund. So, that there's no opportunity for you to even backpedal and be like, I think I put the money in the wrong account. Can I get that back? That opportunity doesn't exist. So for me, I really like when I work with clients, I stretch my clients as well. And so for me, this was the first time in a long while that I had someone stretching me instead. So for me, that's really why I invested. And I got to say, the ladies, and I like the fact that Beverly handpicks the people that she works with, because the group of ladies that are in the accelerator right now, I mean, my accountability partner, shout out to Dorian.
Yay!
She is phenomenal. And not just as an accountability partner, but someone that you can, have a deep conversation with about, and be very open about where you are and what you're doing, and not really feel, like you're being invaded or you're being forced to do things that you don't want to do. So for me, a lot of the programs that I saw out there was kind of like, anybody that gets in, gets in. And for me, I didn't like that. I really wanted that close connection, a space that you could say you're finding like-minded people. And for me, that's what this accelerator is. And I mean, not only my AP, but, other people that I'm actually doing business with in the accelerator, right? Like other people that are also able to utilize my services as much as I utilize theirs as well. So for me, the big push was, not just hearing someone. I got my mini.
It's okay. It's okay.
Popping in,
mini mogul.
For me, say hi.
Hey, the mogul in the making. Mogul in the making. That's all.
I keep telling people that she's gonna take over my business one day. I gotta groove.
Yes. There you
go. Never mind. Awesome. So, for me, having watched someone and really understanding that what they're preaching is consistent, because I've also been in groups where, every couple months the flavor changes and the methodology changes, the mindset changes, and you're just like, I'm not really sure if you're 100% sure about what you're doing. But at least in this group, I have to say, with all honesty, for me, the spiritual piece of it has been phenomenal.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. So you talked about, like your journey to get here and then the amazing ladies that's in the group. So, as a result so far of you being in the program, what have been some of the things that you've gotten out of this as a result of being a part of this accelerator?
For one, I really realized that a lot of what's, hang on one second. Okay, baby, I'll be there shortly. Okay. It's really okay. Do you want to come and sit on mommy's lap until we're done?
I want you to come here to go get my tablet by myself.
Okay, but I'll have to finish up and then I'll come, okay?
Okay. Bring the tablet.
Okay, never mind. I'll be right with you, okay? No. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
This is what work looks like, post-COVID,
right? You're building the business with your child. I mean,
there you go.
How many people that have kids and they're still building their business? Like,
there you go. I won't tell you how many conference calls I've deliberately come off video just so that, I could walk around the house and do what I have to do.
Hey.
Right? So, I mean, So I guess what was the question, Bev?
The results, like what have been some of the results as you've been a part of the accelerator?
For me, I want to say the relationships have been huge for me. Apart from the fact that I've made more money in 1 week than I've made in a month. Like last week, I have to say, I feel like I'm still on that revenue high. Like guys, I 16,400, I think it was.
Look, she can't even keep up with how much she made. She just it was
it was double the week before, and I didn't even realize it until Bev putting it on paper, putting it out there. Like I didn't even realize that I doubled my previous week until I saw it on the sheet, and I was like this is. How did I, it's exactly double. Like, didn't plan this, guys. Like, it was exactly double. But for me, that accountability where every week you have to really talk about it, you got to put it down. For me, I think I'm pretty good about that. Like, I'm very close with my accountant and I keep on top of what's happening in my business, just as much as I keep on top of and keep tabs on my clients. But for me, what was important, in that group, was really the real accountability. Like you couldn't slip, you can't hide from this woman, guys. Like you can't. So for me, I couldn't brush it off and be like 1 week, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna put in the numbers this week. I'm gonna wait till next. No, like this week on Friday must be in there. Visual. What did you learn? What was good? What wasn't good? And then the other piece I think that was great for me is that as a coach, there are lots of things to learn about your business. There are a lot of things that but there are also a lot of things that you don't know. And any coach that you work with that tells you that they know everything about business, just walk away. right? Because they've already lied to you, right? And
Yes.
for me, I focus on 3 specific areas, but I still don't know everything about those areas. So for me, one of my struggles late in the later part of last year was really focusing on the business of my business. And what was hard for me was that, you know, you talk about business, you know the aspects of business, but if you're not putting in those systems in place, it's really hard. And one of the lessons I found out, I think week 2, was that I wasn't optimizing my week. Like I was trying to do a little bit of everything on every day. And at the end of the week, you'd be tired and frustrated, and there would be a bunch of to-do items that were left, you know. So for me, it was really helping me to think about 2 things, you know, thinking about how I service my clients, but also being very focused on building a business to service my clients. So, you know, I really got a chance to have someone be my business coach to help keep me focused on what was important.
I love that. I love that. Now, kind of talk to us, you know, for for your perspective. You know, you're now coming into this thing, you're in this container, this space, this community with all these powerful women in business. And so, you know, how did you end up now, you know, securing these contracts? Because I know these people are like, what is she doing? We're in the middle of a pandemic. And remember, out there, you know, everybody lost their job and everything is shutting down, and, you know, everything is just chaotic. So you kind of talk to us about, you know, and we know you can't share everything and we get it, but, you know, definitely talk to us about some of those things that you were able to do and how you were able to get into that space of securing these.
And I think I want to start with saying the focus from the accelerator was important, because I remember our 90-minute strategy session, Bev, like we talked about all the different things that I could do, right? And I think as businesses, we can sometimes pigeonhole ourselves into one area of what we can do. But, you know, there's a lot of ways for you to do this, you know, different things, and still have, you know, what you call multiple streams of revenue for your business. And Bev's, I think, already got so many different great videos about building multiple streams of revenue. So for me, when I think about, you know, how I did it, was really looking at how I can build multiple streams of revenue. I love coaching, and that's what I want to focus. You know, if I could do 100% of my time, that would what I would be spending, you know, doing coaching. But I also recognize that on the consulting side, there's a lot that people needed right now. And whenever I talk about, you know, securing corporate contracts, corporate's a different animal from B2C. Right? So one of the tips that I found very useful, you've got to find out what's causing people pain today. Like, don't try to sell them on this 12-month plan. Don't try to sell them on, you know, all of the bells and whistles that you bring. You know, fix the pain today. And then once they've worked with you, there's chances are tomorrow when they start feeling a little bit better, there's another part of the body that's going to be paining. And if you can help, you know, you start to snowball and to pick up those extra pieces of work. So the first tip would be really, you know, focus on the today pain. In the pandemic, I have started to implement pricing strategies that I probably would not have thought about. And it really comes down to being creative. So when you think about how you price your products, you know, there's hourly, there's retainers, there's, you know, project rate. There's so many different ways that you can actually price and position your stuff. And so by doing that, you're able to better, you know, connect with people. Sorry, I got a lot of noise in my background here.
Oh, no problem.
Right. So for me, it was being very creative with pricing, because like you mentioned, you know, a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people, especially from a company standpoint, are trying to figure out, you know, how do we move on from here? What are the resources that we're going to be leveraging, you know, to build and grow and recover? So really get creative with that pricing, you know, something that works for me, but also works for them. And then I think the final tip I would share here, Bev, is really stay close to home. Right. One of the contracts that I secured, my mom referred me. Like,
wow.
You know, it's
like, yeah, mama. Thank you,
right?
mama. Look, she said, how much is her finder's fee? Mama said, what was mama's finder's fee?
I'm gonna buy an expensive dinner. Like that's
there you go.
A very expensive dinner.
Like, thank you, mama.
You know, really staying close to home, you know, with your network. I shared in my 6-figure startup group that one of the ways for you to really tap into your network is to really share with them what you do. right? A lot of us, we advertise on social media, we've got our videos out there, we've got all this material out there, but we don't tell our friends what we do. Like, our friends don't know what we do. Our family doesn't know what we do, right? The people who are talking to us every day, who are also talking to other people every day, don't know what we do. And so when opportunities pop up in our network, we can't access them because our people don't know what to bring to us for us to even have first refusal on. And so one of the tips I like to share with new consultants or even small businesses, is really leverage your community. That's your family, that's your network, and really be very clear about what you do. Share with them what you do and tell them exactly what you do, not the fluff stuff, I'm a no, I help with HR, I help with operations, I help with your technology, I help with your people. Talk about what it is that you do so people know what you do. So when they hear opportunities, they can say, ooh, you wanted something about people. Ooh, Aldine does that. Oh, okay. Let me talk to Aldine and see if this is something she could do for you. Right. And so I in my networking groups, I like to say that each person is connected to at least 500 other people. Right. Whether it's LinkedIn, social media, right? On average, and one person is connected to 500 other people.
Did you guys hear that? 500 other people.
500 other people. So if you have 5 family members, that's 250, right? Like 25. I don't know. My math's terrible.
500 times 5, that's 2,500.
2,500 people that you potentially have access to if you're sharing what you know with people, right? So
okay, so hold on, Aldine. Let's recap what you just said. Okay, you said these 3 things. Focus on their today pain, which as an entrepreneur, like you guys as an entrepreneur, even as a coach or consultant, as a coach, we are always talking about the pain, the challenges, the struggle, whatever is going on with these people right now. Okay, so focus on the pain. Yep. And then you also said be creative with the pricing. Is that what you said?
Creative. Yep. Creative with the pricing.
And then you said tap into your network as well.
That's right.
So you guys, she just gave us 3 tangible things that we can do when it comes to this consulting. Now, Aldine, let me ask you this, because some of the people, when it comes to consulting, well, hey, I'm a relationship coach. So what, how can that translate into helping a business or, so on and so forth? First of all, Aldine, talk to them about when it comes to businesses, what are they actually looking at or looking for? Because usually if it speaks to their bottom line, that is something that they can use. So how do we kind of translate what we do if I'm a relationship coach or if I'm a health coach, how do I translate that into consulting?
Yeah. So that's a really good one, because a relationship coach, you might think, how does a relationship coaching get into corporate? Well, if they're a dating site, maybe they might need some consulting for their developers to figure out what characteristics they need to look for, when they're matching things together, right? So I would say if you're thinking about, it doesn't matter where you are, relationship coach, sex coach, like it doesn't matter, anything that you do, I would say the first thing you want to do is to figure out what industries would use your services and get creative with that too. Because, for example, you might not think as a relationship coach that a church would want your support or your church ministry. They may, right? Yep. What if they've got a counseling group for young people? They could be looking for a relationship coach to help them with that, help them build up their program, right? You could be looking into corporate as an example, right? Especially people that are working from home with spouses. You could offer a lunch and learn, to talk about how couples can successfully work from home together, cohabitate and work from home. That's an idea for someone out there.
I don't want to kill the spouse. So that I don't go to jail, you might want to come hop on this lunch and learn.
There you go.
So you don't end up in the prison. Okay.
And I gotta say, lunch and learns are a great way if the company has your ideal client. So as a relationship coach, you probably have people at different stages of relationships in the organization, right? As a benefit company is another one you could target, right? Benefit companies love to offer lunch and learn opportunities for their clients. You could pitch them. You could say, listen, once a year, I want to go into all your clients and I want to talk to them about healthy relationships, not just the ones at work, but just relationships in general, and do a lunch and learn for 30 minutes of free session. If you're able to connect with those people and drop your offers or whatever it is that you're promoting right now, you've reached out, right? And that corporate contract, if you worked with a benefit company or whatever, let's say you charge $500 for the session, and they've got, 25 or 30 clients that want that, you've already, I believe that's about 5 figures now. So you've already dropped a 5-figure contract right there.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. And I love how, and so you guys, this is the thing, like when you connect with people who have done this, once again, she's in the industry, when it comes to the HR part. So she knows the language, she knows the verbiage, she knows what these companies are looking for. You guys, this is the thing, like, and now I'm getting ready to get on my horse, my high horse when it comes to believers in business. You guys, I say this all the time. We should be leading the way in our industry, period. And so, you guys, what better way to bring in another stream of revenue into your business? Once again, she just told us how we could close a 5-figure contract doing lunch and learn series, for this business. So an hour out of my day, once a week or once a month or however we set this thing up. And, you have that revenue that's coming in, that additional revenue that's coming in to your business. You guys, we have to expand our thinking, as entrepreneurs, especially as believers in business, these different ways that we can bring revenue into our business. So Aldine, you have any other tips for us?
Well, the one thing I would say, and I know Bev, you said this all the time, so I'm borrowing one of Bev's tips essentially, is really talk about it, right? Talk about what it is that you can offer. So one of the cool things that happened when this pandemic hit is that people got very creative. People started to offer to do taxes for free for, frontline workers. They offered to, take food and make food and bring it over to frontline workers. They offered specials, people offered up stuff. So one of the things I would encourage people to do is, think of what you have in your inventory. Like when you think of your business and your services and products that you have to offer, what's in your inventory, right? What would corporate use? What would a corporate client use out of that? And it's not just consulting, right? I mean, people underestimate referrals a lot. If you become the primary person that gets that referral, that is in essence a corporate contract. Because what that means is every time they have that need, you're the person they're referring people to. So while you might not have a full out blown contract in your hands, if you've got a preferential agreement or a preferential title or listed as a preferred partner for that business, you're essentially creating the relationship that will keep that recurring revenue coming to you, right? So really, not just think about it, but talk about it. Put it on LinkedIn, put it on your social. Say, hey, listen, if you're in my network and you've got a business that could use a relationship coach, if you've got, I would love to talk to more businesses about this, or I'd love to talk to more employees about this, put it out there. But then when you think about what you've got and what you put out there, really think about how you can make it work for corporate. So whether it's a referral or creative pricing or whatever you want to do, put it out there and then think about how they can use it as well.
I love it. Okay, your AP just hopped on, so she said, hey. Yeah. And then Diane has a question. Diane says, what about life coaches? And so, and she wants to know how corporations leverage that. Because I've always used the example, there are actually corporations that actually hire life coaches, to be able to interact and engage with their employees and stuff like that. So do you have any other tips that maybe Diane can do or use, how she can kind of get her foot in the door when it comes to, because and you just gave a very good example, even posting out there on your social media pages and saying, hey, I am a life coach, these are my area of specialties, this is how I can support your business, hit me up type of thing. But do you have anything else for Diane, who's a life coach?
I'd probably share with Diane, think of a couple of companies that you'd absolutely love to work with, and think about companies that are already forward thinking. So maybe they've got things like lifestyle spending accounts, right? Because that can help your employees afford you, right? So lifestyle spending accounts. Think about companies that really promote holistic wellness and bringing your whole self to work. If you can find a handful of those, 3 to 5 of those companies, I would go with the lunch and learn as an intro. I would suggest you kind of say, hey, I realize that your idea of life coaching, my idea of, holistic approach to life and all that stuff is aligned. I'd love to speak to your employees and share, what's an area that you think they would need some help in, and pitch them on it and really get in front of them and get talking to them about how you can support their employees. Because right now, I got to say, supporting employees is a hot topic. Everybody's thinking how they can better support their employees. And so coaching for the most part is booming if you're able to position your service properly. So if you've got, I'd say it to you, Diane, go on out there and find a couple of companies that, their mission and how they treat employees align with what you do for life coaching, and just, drop them a line and say, love what you're doing. Here's a way that I can support your employees. Would you be willing to hop on the phone and talk about it some more?
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I love how you kind of split that, split apart what you just said. Because a lot of times, people look at, hey, I only do this or I only do that. But when they actually sit down and look at all the skill set that they bring to the table, they realize that they bring a lot more to the table. So even if, as a life coach, and I know Diane, she specifically works with women who have Christian women who have been through divorce, and it's kind of like the after effects of that. But just like you said, aligning with churches, aligning with other faith-based organizations. Like that's another thing too that sometimes we don't think about. We automatically think of a church, but there are other faith-based places out there that are not specifically churches.
With mediators. I mean,
yes,
mediators in your group or in your community, right? Because mediators are often preventing divorce, and if you go through, there's your target audience.
Yes.
So
that's perfect. And so actually we have another question. So Adora says, should we target specific job titles when trying to get corporate contracts? What's the best way to get the decision maker in the corporation? So she has two questions. So, when we're trying to secure, and we kind of touched on that just a little bit a few seconds ago, but, how can I kind of determine whether or not the company might need my services type of thing? And then, how do I reach those decision makers?
So I'm gonna answer the second part, because like you said, I kind of answered the first part before. And I would say find anybody in the company that will talk to you. Like that's the first thing. Don't get too picky. Don't attack HR. I could tell you, being in HR, one of my pet peeves was just people just like attacking me, asking me for stuff. Knowing that, we're the conduit. There's so much going on. Like we are not the best people all the time to talk to, right? But if they answer you, like maybe they're not so busy and maybe they are interested, right? But I would say find anybody in the company that will talk to you, because what you're looking for is intel. You really want to understand what they need and how they need it so that you can position it. So I would say if you're thinking of getting into corporate, find anybody in that organization that will talk to you. And then from that conversation, find out who will be the best person to talk to about your service, right? Sometimes we can get too picky. Oh, I want to talk to the manager. I want to talk to the head of this and the head of that. No, just find somebody who wants to talk to you as well. Get your foot in the door, build an ally who can say, I talked to this lady or this man. I know this person, or I know of this person. They're worth your time, or they can actually bridge that communication gap for you. So try and get an ally first. And once you've got that, then, have that conversation so you can learn more about what the organization is doing, where they're going, what they're thinking of. And that will put you in a better position to actually pitch one of your service or offerings to them.
I love that. And let me ask you this. I don't know if this is good. This is the thought that popped in my head. And the person that asked this was Adora. I know that Adora, she works with social media. Would it be okay for Adora to kind of check out that company's social media page and maybe offer a tip or two to kind of help, hey, I noticed this is something, you may want to try this. Is that okay for her to kind of do that as well?
I would be careful with the offering tips. One of my experiences have been sentiments don't communicate well over wording, so emails and so on. What you may imply as a joke or, a funny comment may be misconstrued. So when it comes to offering tips, I would be very careful how you craft that, because you never know the temperament of the person who's reading. However, if you wanted to get into, get in front of them, I would actually interact with them on social media. If you're great with social media, just interact, right? I know brands that really like when they have community members highly engaged. So if you become one of their highly engaged community members, then you're in a better position to pitch a tip. Or, say, hey, what if you guys did this instead of that? Because now they would have had some kind of experience with who you are and what you do, right? But I can tell you, the small to medium-sized space, Adora, where I work in right now, social media help is a necessity. Like they're struggling just to keep doors open. They're not even on social. So pitch them. Please.
Did you hear her, Adora? She said, go for it.
Go for it. And if you see a social media page that the last tweet was like 2 years ago, be like, hey, you guys still awake? Like, what's going on?
Hi. Y'all still there?
I can help you.
I love that. And so Aldine, you kind of talked to us about, you gave us some very tangible tips of what we can do when it comes to, kind of securing these contracts and, who to talk to, getting our foot into the door, so on and so forth. Before we end this conversation, do you have any last minute tips or strategies or resources you want to share with those that are either watching this live or on the replay?
Perfect. Let me think about that one. I would probably say, like, one of my top tips is not to get too hyper focused on, a lot of times what I see is people that think about corporate contracts, they think about this, 30-page document of what you can do and your statement of work and your, all that stuff. Like, don't get so caught up, especially now when a lot of people are in need. Don't get too caught up on these service offerings. And my AP is a good example of this, right? She identified a need, we talked about it, and within the same day, she got a landing page up saying, this is what I do, contact me, right? Like, don't overthink offering your services to corporate. They're people too, right? Like, they're literally people too. I'm not going to say forego, a proper template and laying out what you need to lay out, but, don't overthink it, to doing massive proposals, because unless you've got a very good idea of what it is that they're looking for, you won't know what to put in that proposal, right? Get it up. So done is better than perfect. Get something out there, get something in front of them. And even I'll share the contract that I landed last week with a 5-figure deal that my mom referred me to, right? I literally had a conversation and was hired in the conversation. They didn't see any paper from me. Like, I didn't have a proposal. Right?
Yes.
I didn't have anything. What I did, I walked in and I talked about what I did. I shared what I could do, having done things with similar clients before. And at the end of the conversation, the owner was like, all right, like, we're done. Like, it's you. We're good. And, that ties in a couple of things like we talked about before, that network, having your network know what you do. But then also not to overthink it. If in that meeting I said, let me get back to you with my 30-page proposal on how I can help your business.
Yep.
Right. I could tell you she wasn't going to read that 30-page proposal.
First of all.
Right. So, I mean, done is better than perfect. So do it dirty, get it done. And that's where the conversations are so important. So, ensure your network knows what you do. Make sure that you've got your pitch ready. You know what you do. You're very certain about what you do and how you can help a corporate client. And then 3, just get it done. Start having those conversations. And when you got an opportunity to pitch, put a 1-pager together, say, this is what I do, this is how I do it, contact me to learn more and roll with it.
I love it. And so, they're in the comments. They're going off. And so, Aldine, this was an amazing conversation.
Thank you.
And, it was, you gave us tangible tips. And especially with what's going on now in the world, we could get our hands into some of this consulting as well, but keeping it simple. It doesn't have to be, like you said, I don't have to create this 30-page document up front. You mentioned conversations, like, have conversations with people, don't overthink, am I ready? Is this company too big? Can you do the job? Can you do the job? Okay, then you can do the job. Go ahead and reach out, because right now they need us. And that's the thing, especially, you guys, like you said, believers, they need us right now. And so we need to make sure that we're reaching out. So you guys, first of all, if you are not connected with Aldine on social media, go ahead and connect with her. So she's tagged. Yeah, she's tagged in this video. So connect with her, but let her know, don't just send her a friend request and tell her, hey, I saw you on the case study. I saw you on Bell's case study. Right. And so definitely connect with her if you're on LinkedIn. Now, the name that she has on the bottom of her screen right now, you search that name. Yeah, search that name that she has on the bottom of the Zoom, because that's where you'll find it over on LinkedIn. But Aldine, those people that are like, okay, how can I talk to you if I'm interested in, more on these either corporate contracts, or how you can help me as a startup, can you help me add 6 figures to my business? So, like, what's your email, your contact information for the people?
For sure. So apart from social, you can contact me via email at info@aldeenst, so ALDEENST.com. I'm also promoting one of our initiatives right now. We're trying to help 1,000 businesses get online, and not just get online, but as you're optimizing your processes, as you're optimizing what you do, we really want to help you have a better online presence. So you can find me there as well at 1000get.online as well. So you can call me. Messenger is great. LinkedIn, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Message me on LinkedIn as well. I'd love to hear how I can help you guys, get some more of this corporate money. Like, guys, it is out there.
Yeah, we want some of it. Yeah, we want some of it. We do. So, Audrey, thank you so much. This was like the comments they're in here, and they're saying this was so helpful, amazing, awesome information. Malika said, "Let me hold something." That's a different conversation.
Yes. I got you, girl. I got you.
Yeah, they said they appreciate this conversation. It was very straightforward and honest. And you guys, and that's what I felt like we needed, especially with this topic right here of how we can, kind of tap into that corporate, that consulting side of our business. So, Aldine, any last minute words you want to leave the people before we sign off for today?
One of my favorite ones is done's better than perfect. So now that you've got the information, you have learned some stuff, don't sit at home on it for another 10 days. Just get something done, put something out there, and then refine it. So done's better than perfect.
Amen. Aldine, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule today to sit and just have this conversation with us. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Awesome. And then those of you that are watching us live, thank you so much. And those of you that are catching the replay, type in #replay, leave your questions, your comments, connect with Aldine as well. Make sure that you do that. And you guys, like I said, be on the lookout. I will continue these case study conversations with these accelerator ladies. They are in there kicking behind, and it's absolutely amazing. You guys, as believers in business, there's no reason why we can't do. I don't know if you caught what she said earlier, where this week she made in 1 week what she had done all month. She literally doubled in a week what she had done the last week. She's looking like, whoa. And you guys, and then that impact that she's making, her being able to work with her coaching clients, that consulting side as well. And that's what I'm about, helping my believers in business create more income and more impact without compromising their Christian values. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, you guys, take care.
Bye.
Take care.